Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Now with our main topic today. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi have received a phone call from U.S. Secretary of the UN, Antonio Guterres, during which they discussed the pivotal role that is played by the United Nations and the various organizations in providing support and relief to the people of Gaza. To shed more light on this, we have the pleasure to have with us over the phone our dear guest, Mr. Abdel, Rahman, political analyst, journalist, and writer. Good morning.
Good morning to you. Hello to you and the dear viewers.
Thank you. Well, Mr. Rahman, how do you see the phone call and its importance between President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and UN Secretary General? As during the call, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi praised the pivotal role that is played by the United Nations.
I believe this call comes in a very significant time. I'm sure that the consequences of the Zionist aggression against the Gaza Strip and the Palestinians and the Arabs in the occupied lands has declared and made it clear that who is the aggression side, and of course the UN organizations, they should have the role, their mission to help the Palestinians as the mission that was given to them since the very beginning. The call given by Mr. Antonio Guterres to Mr. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, it comes in a very important time. Right afterwards, the great efforts that Egypt has paid and given to the Palestinians, humanitarian the humanitarian side, the negotiating side, the diplomatic efforts, and all the political efforts and other efforts that can never be revealed right now. We have given the Palestinians and the Palestinian cause all the efforts that any country can give. So I believe it's time for the UN to make it clear to the whole world that it's doing its mission, its role to help the Palestinians. This is the role of the UN organizations like UNRWA. I believe that the Zionist pressures against some organizations in Palestine that are working in Palestine pushed them to take negative decisions or negative statements. I'm sure that Mr. Antonio Guterres, with his previous statement, that he's declared it, made it clear that there is a huge crimes and brutal crimes against Gaza Strip, against the Palestinians. I'm sure he understands how to deal with the situation. And of course, with the care of Mr. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, we can reach a better resolution and a better solution for the organizations to reorganize their efforts and to understand that they should never give up to any pressures from the Zionist existence. I'm sure that Egypt is doing the best effort can be given to the Palestinian cause, and I'm sure that Mr. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi has made it clear to the Zionist existence, or other powers are supporting the Zionist existence like the US or the EU or any other power, that Egypt is standing behind the Palestinian cause and standing against any displacement of the Palestinians from their own homeland, the homeland that even the Palestinians are holding on to it, and they are refusing to leave their land even if they die. I believe this is a historical situation taken by the Palestinians, comes in a very significant time of this conflict between the Arabs led by
Yes,
Egypt.
yes.
And
Mr. Abdurrahman, how do you evaluate the role by the U.S. Secretary, the UN Secretary Antonio Guterres, since the start of the crisis in Gaza? We all felt that he is against, of course, any kind of aggression against the women and children, and the offensive that Egypt is launching on the Palestinian civilians. Okay, so how did you read his stance from the beginning?
Really, I was surprised by his positive situation.
Yes.
I didn't believe that any UN secretary could take such strong situation against the such aggression by the Zionist resistance against the Arabs in the occupied lands. His positive statements, his fair statements that made it clear to the whole world who is the aggression, who is committing the war crimes against the Palestinians, which of course is the Zionist existence, even made him on the line of fire from the Israeli media and Israeli officials that have attacked the man, attacked his statements, the same attacks and the same hostile situation that Israel has taken against the UNRWA organization and made it think they can change their mission. I believe that the firm stance by Mr. Antonio Guterres is historical. And of course, the go to the right side of the Egyptian efforts to help the Palestinians, and Mr. Antonio Guterres and other officials of the UN made it clear to the whole world that Egypt is opening the path, the Rafah pass between Egypt and the Palestinians in Gaza Strip, and there is not ever for one day, Egypt has blocked that pass. The passage between Egypt and Rafah is open all the way.
Yes. So, Mr. Abdurrahman, how do you see the importance of this phone call between President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres, during which the President Sisi have praised the pivotal role played by the UN in this crisis of Gaza Strip? And how does this phone call show Egypt's keenness on always providing support and negotiations on daily basis to solve the issue of the sufferings of the Palestinians?
Well, I'm sure that such phone call can be positive and positively help the effort, the common efforts accomplished between Egypt and the UN to help the Palestinians in their tragedy, as we have even more than 30,000 martyrs of Palestinians. We need to remember here that each and every subject in the Zionist existence is a military subject. On the other hand, the Palestinians are, most of them are civilians. Only the resistance powers or organizations are the fighters.
Yes.
Also, there is a very important stand that Egypt has taken since the very beginning of the operation, October 7th. I am sure it has been declared clearly to the whole world. We are protecting our own borders, and there is no Zionist agenda or any other agenda or any hidden agenda could be applied on our borders, whether the Philadelphia passage or the Rafah passage. I am sure that the line of the line that differs between war and peace is drawn on this line. Whoever wants to pass this line, whoever thinks that he can be able just to put a foot on this line, he will be eliminated. Our leaders, our military leaders, has made it clear. Mr. President Abdel al-Sisi has made it clear that this is a red line for the Egyptian state, and I'm sure that the Zionist existence and other powers who are supporting the Zionists are just raising the level of the statements against Egypt, trying to make publicity after the severe defeat they have suffered, they have faced. Yes. Before the heroic resistance battles they have fought against them.
Yes, concerning the Rafah crossing border and the supplies and the medical humanitarian aid that Egypt is sending to or crossing the crossing and of the Rafah border. How do you see the Egypt stance since the start of the crisis and Egypt's keenness on delivering all the things that are needed and the supplies and the medicine to the Palestinian side, and Egypt's efforts since the start of the war on the 7th of October? For the first 2 weeks, Egypt was exerting all efforts for the supplies to enter, and in vain. But after 2 weeks, it started to flow. But there is always, it's not going smoothly. Did you get me?
Yes.
Even after the resolution of the UN recently, 3 weeks ago, the resolution of the UN in order to send the supplies on the borders to the Palestinian side, it stopped before the mentioning a ceasefire. So Egypt is exerting all efforts for concerning the humanitarian supplies and also humanitarian aid, and also exerting efforts for a ceasefire, but in vain. We don't see any hope in the ceasefire. So what's your comment on this?
It's a battle of decision. We have a very critical situation right now on the borders between Egypt and Gaza Strip. Of course, we have started the line of aids for supplies, humanitarian aid to the Palestinians since day one, and we are still pushing and pouring the supplies to the Gaza Strip one way or another. We are helping our neighbors and brothers in Palestine. The whole world knows that Egypt is the only gate that any help or any supplies or any humanitarian aids can be given to the Palestinians only by Egypt, and Egypt is opening that gate wide out for the whole world and made it clear to even the Palestinians. They know that the only vein with blood that giving them a line of life is by Egypt. On the other hand, the Zionist existence are pushing the Palestinians, and they are massively killing each and every day more Palestinians and more Arabs, and trying to push their forces against the borders. Well, this is a very important situation here, and I'm sure that in a matter of days, a new decision will be made. I am sure that there is a new situation will be taken. We don't take a reaction. We always are the action. We always are. We have our patience, and we have our priorities. And I'm sure that Egypt is standing like a mountain against any greed or aggression from the Zionist existence. I am sure that they are pushing it so hard on our borders for us to take a decision that can be not in its time, but we have the patience and we have the power and we have the persistence to help the Palestinians with all the power that we have. They are our neighbors, and this is our national security cause. This is a national security cause to Egypt. So we are not just supporting a neighbor country, which is or neighbor nation like the Palestinians. We are supporting our own national security with all the powers that we have, and we are fighting with honor. We are fighting our cause with honor. That too many powers in the world lack that honor, like Mr. President Abdel al-Sisi has made it clear.
Yes, Mr. Abdurrahman, how did you see the role by the International Court of Justice? How did you see the role by the court? Some political analysts have said after the ruling, which is a binding rule and cannot be appealed. Some political analysts said that some countries are going to change their stance towards Israel and towards supporting Israel or financing weapons to Israel. On the contrary, yesterday some countries have announced they are not going anymore to support or to fund the UNRWA.
Yes.
So, how did you read this stance?
Well, first, the role by the International Court in La Haye is a historical decision, and it's a very important, and it's a disaster to the Israeli side. With all means, it's a disaster that an international organization had made it clear that Israel is a criminal. Israel has made the ultimate sin, the brutal massacre, that true Holocaust against the Arabs in Palestine. This is a very important historical decision to be made, even though we have, of course, witnessing pressures, the same pressures that poured or pushed by the Zionist existence by other Zionist powers like the U.S. that declared itself a Zionist state officially by the Congress, that the USA is a Zionist state. So they are pouring their pressures against the international organizations and other powers in the world.
Yes.
The nations of the whole world are witnessing that right now, and they are strongly and firmly standing by the Palestinian rights, even though the verdict will be changed any time later.
Yes. Yes, I thank you very much for your time. Thank you for your valuable information, Mr. Amr Abdurrahman, political analyst, journalist, and writer. Thank you very much for joining us over the phone. Well, ladies and gentlemen, a short break, and I'm going to be back with you.